Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Team Unity Roundtable discussion. And I just want to, if I haven't greeted you so far for the year, express a happy new year to every one of you. Wish you the best as we go on through this new year. In today's episode, domestic violence issue, which really said in Dominica over the past in recent time. We had an episode with the women, and we thought it necessary that we we do things from both sides of the coin, and decided to let's talk about this issue as men. In this episode, I have a special guest who's joining me, and he is a man, a married special person in the community. He doesn't live in Dominica at this point, but he's very much connected to our nature island. Uh, Let me bring him on as we Mr. Emmanuel. Special good afternoon to you and happy new year to you, sir.
Good
Welcome
afternoon to you.
to an episode of Team Unity's Roundtable discussion, where we're not discussing politics today. We're talking about a serious issue in the country, and that is the issue of domestic violence.
Yes, we
Well,
are. Yes, we are.
we can talk about this as men. I mean, it's not something that we like. I'm pretty certain that the way that we were raised, this kind of thing has not been. Anyway, let me stop here. Let me allow you to introduce yourself, and we'll take it from there as we go on. Welcome to Team Unity's Roundtable discussion.
Thanks for having me, Mr. Charles. And I think, well, first of all, yeah, my name is Imran. People know me as Timo. Um, Tribe Emmanuel is my tag. And, I've lived in Dominica for the majority of my life. I moved to the United States in 2013. And I have a family, I have a wife, I have three kids, three beautiful kids. And I think what we're about to discuss today is a very pertinent in considering what has been going on happening lately in our lovely nature isle. And I think we should. The last time you had women on, and it's a great initiative that you've undertaken, and even to include men in the discussion. So I'm looking forward to having this discussion with you today.
Okay. Tell us about that Tribe Emmanuel thing. I see you have. I like the logo. I like the looks like your branding.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, Travis Manuel, when you think of our ancestors and where we came from, and the social construct that they came from, in the motherland, in Africa, even in the
Right.
Amazon, because in the Caribbean, that is all where our background is mostly from. I think of my family as a tribe, as a not just a place where, because back in the day in a tribe you would have the medicine man, you would have the blacksmith, you would have the man who is skilled in woodwork, you would have the
Right.
lady who is probably skilled in childbirth, that sort of thing. And you right now, our we
Sort of
can't afford.
like the
Yeah, we
cartoon
can't.
the
Right.
cartoons you used to watch. It Smurfs.
Right. So
Everybody
it's like
has benefits.
my wife and I, we are the parents, and in the household, we have to be those people to our kids. A
Right.
lot of times we expect our romantic partner to be everything to us. That's what the tribe used to be, and that which is not realistic in this modern day and this modern place that we live in. But we can do it on a smaller scale, on a micro scale at home, with the kids. Me and my wife, we are management. She cook, I cook. She clean, I clean. She does laundry, I do laundry. You know what I mean? So we don't have the specifically defined roles,
Define roles.
in our
So
marriage.
you're not leaving dishes and wait for to come back
No,
from
no, no, no,
busy
no, no,
decor
no, no,
business,
no.
and
Yeah,
that's
and
still
there's certain things, that like is a given. Like she's, let's say, in the area of handling bills and paperwork and doctor appointments and those things, that's her bag. And it's just like if she goes outside and she has a flat, I won't expect her to change the tire. You know what I mean?
right,
So there's certain things that where wherever we're stronger, we pick up wherever we stronger. But on a whole, and if one of the kids ask her for something or to do something and she says no, then my answer will be no as well, and
right.
vice versa.
So no coming to
You know,
daddy and see if you can get a yes when mommy say no.
exactly, exactly. So as I say, we think the word family is European. Even our last names that they give us are European.
Right,
So the least we can do is at least pay some homage to our ancestors by being a tribe, and so that is where the whole concept of being a tribe, you know, being that type of way, and Ubuntu. I am because we are,
yeah,
you know, I am because we are. It's not just me, it's us. Is also right now modern day society is all about me. I like to think of things as we, you know,
right.
we instead of me, you know. So that is kind of where the whole, and it just, I guess, just caught on and it rolls off the tongue. Tribe Emmanuel, and
I like the fact that you take it a step further. So
yeah, and I like to, I'll post videos or pictures or whatever with me and my family, and it's not too like big chest or brag or anything like that. It's just to show other young men that like having a family can be fun and could be nice, could be a good thing, could be a good vibe. After a time is another. I didn't always have a family. You know what I mean?
mhm,
But I went from being a certain way to being a family man and trying my best to keep my family, grounded and well taken care of.
right. I
Yep.
really admire that. And I'm assuming you're connected with Dominica and seeing what's going on in terms of the domestic violence issues that has read its ugly head in our
Hmm.
in our
Definitely.
yeah,
Definitely. And one of the victims of the recent, tragedies, I knew her. You know what I mean? I knew her. She was a,
it's like
you know,
a
like
personal
it,
thing for you.
yeah, and it came as a shock, and came as a shock to many people, especially people who knew her and knew the type of person that she was, and you knew what was going on and what would happen for her in the future. You know what she was working towards,
Mhm.
and she has a daughter. Her daughter is just a little older than my first son. So it really came as a shock, came as
Well,
as a real shock. You
Mr.
know.
Emmanuel, I've asked the ladies many questions. Well, we were supposed to have a preacher with us on today. Unfortunately, and they were not able to. He was not able to come on. The circumstance made him culturally fell ill on Friday. I couldn't even talk to him. I deliver as a message instead of regular call. However, I will throw the questions at you, and you may answer them to the best of your ability. As even we come from a background. I know you come from a background where you raised properly. So there are standards that you maintain and you uphold it, even if you're the way that you live in your life and you raising your family together
Of
as
course.
individuals.
Of course.
For one, in your opinion, do you what is there are there correct or incorrect ways of dealing with persons? If you know somebody has been a victim of domestic abuse, how would you deal with that person?
Um, you're talking about the from the victim, right?
Victim standpoint, because you know how it is with persons sometimes we don't want to get involved. Boy, man, I don't want man and his girlfriend. I don't want to really want to involve myself with people. And how 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 do you think that we as a community, a society, should be handling that?
Well, first of all, I would like to start by saying that any man who sees it fit or sees it necessary to abuse a woman physically, not just physically,
Right.
right, but physically, mentally, emotionally, economically, you know what I mean, is a weak man. You are a weak man. That is not what manhood is about or being a man is about. That is advantage. What do you have to prove? You know what I mean? So I'd just like to start by saying that so everyone knows where I'm coming from and on which side of the fence I am.
Right.
And you know, I know people, you know, who gone through, you know, the ringer and have been victims of domestic violence. And first of all, in dealing with a situation like that, remember it's even if it's an abusive situation, it's also a situation where it comes falls under matters of the heart. That person, in many cases, will sometimes be very much involved with their abuser,
Mhm.
and the you are in no position to gauge how much they are or should be in love with that person. That is their personal thing. But when it comes to especially the physical aspect of it, where you notice that the person has bruises or the is trying to hide or mask certain, you know, maybe injuries they sustained or that you approach it from a standpoint, I think, of not being judgmental or maybe calling them names or tell them like, oh, like, you know, don't sometimes a lot of times in our culture, in our Dominican culture especially, we can be very uncouth
Hmm.
and we tend not to be very economical with our words. And
Yes.
you know, and it's easy for us to lash out at someone who's already hurting, who's already in a position of distress and pain, and really just maybe wanting someone to listen and empathize. Because a lot of times, if women, I observe, especially with women, a man will come to you with an issue and he might want you to give him a solution.
Right.
A lot of times, women will come to you with an issue. They don't really want you to give them a solution. They want you to listen. They just want you to hear what they have to say. And if they want a certain level of guidance or exit strategy, or they will tell you, they will indicate, they will tell you, what do I do? What do you think I should do? But in the absence of that indication, most times they just want somebody to listen to. And you listen. You don't just hear,
Hmm.
but you listen. You listen and then you listen to what they have to say, and then you can probably use and probably like an example that you know of kind of help them navigate, or you could
Uh,
probably help them, you could tell them about like some resources that you know, some professionals that you know, and in a way kind of hold their hand through the process and not just lash out and, girl, you stupid, and so long you should leave that man, and Mr. Tired to you that, and
mhm.
because at the same time, there's a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of things in, they probably share a home together.
Mhm.
They probably share a child or children together. There's probably a weapon in the house that the abuser maybe is the sole person who has access to that weapon. There is also a number of factors, financial, she probably can't make it on her own, you know, and all those. So you need to, we can't afford to just lash out at a person in a situation like that and start name calling them and tell them how stupid they are and
Right.
how. but keeping in mind that is a situation that can elevate, and you don't want them to be in the situation when it's elevated.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So I think we should kind of format it in a way where we pace them. It's a give and take. It's almost like a dance. You know, you let them reveal themselves little more, little more. You don't go questioning or interrogating, like let them feel like they understand in a courtroom, because that might cause them to climb up and go into their shell.
But if you for example you get in an active situation, you know it's typical for persons in society to want to stay away from that. Even sad to say, our law enforcement sometimes
Mm-hmm.
it may be reported, and they may not be too eager to go and put themselves in it and ask, boy, I go and talk to these people. I take the girl away from Mister. We ask Mister to leave the house, and then you come back 2 weeks later. You see them passing in their transport.
Right, right. And that's
So
the thing, like it's easy to say, boy, that is man and woman business. So why not go getting
right.
involved in man and woman business? That is when you later you see them all passing, well, oh God, you know what I mean? And of course that happens a lot. I've seen it happen a lot.
But
And
do you walk away from a situation like that? Or, I mean,
like you have to bear in mind that you also have to give people a certain level of privacy.
right.
And you cannot afford to like really put a person out there, like put them on blast like that. Um, but you kind of you encourage them to take action. You empower them and you let them know that hey, I'm there for you. I'm on your side. I'm on your team. Whatever action, whatever. But you also have to impress on them the grave nature or the grave circumstance that they in and what it could lead up to.
Mhm.
You have to impress that on them. But you know, it's because they say on average, like what a woman leaves an abusive relationship on the average 7 times before she finally makes a final decision. Leaves and comes back, leaves and comes back like 7 times.
So
And
that
so,
means women are more tolerant to us than we are to them.
right, right, right. And a lot of times too is I mean we're moving away from that, but traditionally the man was like the major breadwinner in the home. And
Right.
a woman a woman would say would be put in a position where sometimes she really just cannot do it on her own. And
Mhm.
it would also be, let's say a woman has 2 children from a previous relationship. Those 2 children, their father doesn't support them. The father doesn't help with anything. Now she has this new man and she has 1 child with him. Now she has 3 children, one for that new man and two for 2 other
For
absent
the
men.
previous, yes.
Now that 1 child, that man she with, he taking care of his 1 child. What she get for that 1 child, the 2 others getting from it. But that man is an abuser. She living at his home in his house with her 2 children. He giving her money or giving her whatever, supporting his 1 child. All of them benefiting. Now that child is like the cash cow. It's like the golden goose
Right.
because the only reason why she's able to maybe have a roof on her head and her other children, she's able to give her other children post money and snack and whatever to go to school is because of that one man, that abuser that she's with. Now, when she thinks of removing herself from the situation in spite of all of the
How,
abuse and
how is
whatever
she
she's
going
going
to?
through,
How is she going to make it
from an economic standpoint, she's thinking of it as is like almost like, well, she have like taking one for the team.
right?
So
Or I
she
live in what
has
I have
to
for what I cannot see.
exactly. So she is forced in many cases to endure endure and he would a lot of times maybe to if maybe she would complain to a family member or call police or whatever, he will probably punish her economically. Oh well, that you doing? Well, I'm not giving you money this week. No money next week. But when I come home, I bring in pizza for my child alone. You know what I mean? I bring in pizza for my child alone. One slice of pizza for my child, or I'll take my child, I'll bring my child and eat when he come back.
It, yes,
You and your children fend for yourself. You know what I mean?
yes.
And so when a woman is placed in and that is why I believe like in this and even now and even leading into another area of subject because even now in this modern day and age where women are getting more educated and economically independent,
Dependent.
a lot of men feel threatened by that, and that also causes
Us. So so
that
to
also
so
causes
to assert yourself as the head
right.
of the home, you want to
You
be
know,
physical. You want to be
you want
macho.
to be so now. For example, maybe he's been the one that has been like a recent case we saw she was about to graduate and be a doctor. She was a
Mhm.
medical student. A lot of men might feel threatened by that
Well,
because if at a certain point he was the one walking around with the big paycheck, but the woman is probably in school or something, and he knows that okay, she's not gonna need me as much.
mhm.
When she's more economically independent, that threatens a lot of men. They cannot stand to see like their woman making more money than them, being more educated than them, have more going on for her on an economic front, on a professional front, making connections, seeing meetings. You want to know who she meeting with, who did you have that meeting lunch with, how many people were there,
So what
you know.
what do you say to the young men who don't see the women as equal partners in the
No,
relationship?
the thing is, the young, when you look at it like in statistics based on like people who graduate from college and university, you'll see is mostly women, but not just mostly women, mostly black women, you know, doing things and elevating themselves to places where historically they've never been before. A lot of uh, lawyers and so when men, if you see the best thing you can do, you see your woman trying to elevate herself, support her and not just support in the sense of oh well yeah I she going to school, I helping her, like I so that is an investment, so when she graduate, when she get the big job, she better don't forget me. You understand? Or
Yes.
it's like you don't own a stake in if you help if you and somebody in a romantic serious committed romantic relationship and your woman is doing something to empower herself, to big up herself, you not you shouldn't be looking at that as well you doing it because of what you can get at the end of the exercise.
Right.
It's like man used to say like, oh, I do reason for other man to eat. You check me? I do reason for other people to eat. You check? So
Right.
is you cannot think of it from that standpoint. You need to think of wow, she doing that, and then you never know based on her level of education and maybe where she end up working and where she end up positioning herself, she could be in a position to pull you up
To
and
elevate
big you
you
up full
as well.
time. You check? And if you're a young man and you find yourself in a position where you feel to yourself that you feeling emasculated or belittled by your woman's success, then you need to get some type of counseling or some type of therapy to overcome that because I don't think it has to do with the woman's success. I think it has to do with ego. It's an ego thing. And men need to learn to let go of that ego.
And what the second mentality, meaning the being second in the relationship, you think that affects relationships in young couples?
Yeah. And the thing is, we need to first of all raise our young women to know their worth, to know what is acceptable and what. I have a daughter, a 6-year-old daughter. If she does something out of pocket, something that she's not supposed to do, I correct her. I correct her. I don't abuse her. I don't correct the correction. She knows why she's being corrected, if whatever it is like. And the, but there's people and there's young girls that their first real contact with abuse and physical abuse is from their home. It's from the home that they grow up in. They would maybe do something and their father would probably abuse them, or the father figure in their life would probably abuse them. And they could grow up feeling or thinking like that is the way it should be. That is the way it's supposed to be. But I think, what was your question again? I think I stray away from your question with that point I just brought up there.
The second mentality, the being, feeling like the women feeling like they are, I mean, the man is the head of the home, right? But
Mhm.
in terms of society, people think that the women is second to the man. And how does that affect younger couples? You think it affects relationships negatively? You think
Yeah,
it
because
depends?
the thing is,
For
when
example,
you,
or to flip it the other way around, when a woman becomes empowered, so to speak,
Mhm.
and, and the man feels like he's second in the relationship, you, so what sort of balance you think? Do you think that the man feels insecure? You feel that that kind
yeah,
of thing?
a lot of men feel insecure because, remember, as I said, traditionally, men would be the one who would be the main breadwinner of the home, especially in the more rural areas.
Right.
Of the woman would stay home and take care of the household and do the domestic chores, and the man would come home and
Man go home
beat
and
his
hunt and
chest.
fish, hunt and
Yeah,
fish, and
and
the woman stay home and cook the food. And when he's back home, the food hot waiting for him.
right, right. But when you look at a person from not being man or woman, but being a human being, look at your partner, your romantic partner, your husband, your wife, your boyfriend, as being before they are a man, or as a human being, just as yourself. And you think of all the liberties and all the good things and all and stuff that you want for yourself, as just as a human being. Wouldn't you want that for them
That's right.
as well? So when you think of your level of freedom that you would like to have for yourself, wouldn't you like to have that, them to have that too? When you think of the relationship that you have with people in the peripheral, like your family, your friends, your relatives, people outside of the immediate home, wouldn't you want them to have that too? And all those things come that comes under like different forms of abuse, because an abuser will abuse someone by not letting them have time with their friends or family, limiting phone calls,
Going into
taking
WhatsApp.
out, yeah, searching their phone, taking away their car key, taking away, limiting them economically by probably taking
Canceling the
away their
card.
paycheck, taking away their debit card, um, preventing them from having the same liberties that they cherish and want for themselves, but they limiting that other person.
From having
You
the same freedoms.
right. So when you do that, that means you do not see that person as an equal human being from a human standpoint, as an equal human being like yourself. No, in the household, then, as I was telling you earlier on, like me and my wife, for example, we don't have defined roles that we adhere to. But if you find yourself in a situation where as a man, you playing second fiddle to your wife, then I think it's a much deeper problem than just she being economically viable. That
Well,
has to do that. I think that has a lot to do with maybe the ideology that the person grew up with.
right, and
The
that
so
brings me to something. Well, the comment that was just we just sent to us there, when they feed. Um, what is your views on the over sexualization of our women, especially judging on the type of music and lyrics being produced as of late? Do you think that has an effect on the way that we are socialized? If it's in
oh
the music, it should be accepted
yeah,
as normal.
it it definitely does. And you know what they always say, sex sells, area sex sells. And when you first of all, I don't know if you saw that there was a video clip the other day. Cardi B was on live with her fans playing her music on live, and her daughter entered the room. And as soon as her daughter entered the room, she turned off the music. And she said
Right,
to her fans, her daughter doesn't listen to her. She doesn't want her daughter to listen to her music because
right,
her music is for adults. Her music is for adults. So, okay, there's entertainment, there's all types of entertainment, including adult entertainment. If you make certain songs with certain lyrics, certain adult lyrics in it or whatever, I think we should be cognizant of the venues that that type of music is being played,
right. So,
and the setting, and try to really, because adults going to make adult decisions. If you that is your type of music that you listen to as an adult, I am in no position to tell you otherwise. That is your adult choice. But if I take my children to a gathering, and the organizers know that they're going to be families and kids and whatever there,
so like a
they
girl
should
in the park.
right. They should try to really make an effort to talk to the DJs, talk to the performers, let them know what type of event and what type of
Family setting.
crowd, yeah, what type of crowd that they expect, and to tailor their music towards that. You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, women are very, very, very much oversexualized, and it's something that's been around for ages. And the most we can, I think, now at this point we can do is to protect our children, protect the innocence of our children as much as we can, being being mindful of the fact that they interact with other kids from other backgrounds and from other households when they go to school and whatever, that can influence or tell them about certain things. And you don't want them hearing it from their friend the wrong way, or be misinformed or misguided by their friend or by the internet, by Google search or that kind of thing. So it really starts at home in terms of talking to them, educating them, telling them about certain things, making them aware of certain things, their culture, background, what is going on around them, certain nuances, certain things that were taboo are no longer taboo. I mean, you look at little Disney Channel movies and whatever, they
Right.
have they cater into the LGBT community and all of that, and it's there.
It's
We
in your
we are
face.
the It's in our field. We are the So what I think the best approach, I think, to those types of situations especially dealing with our young girls, is to educate them from home about what their value, what do they value in life, what is important to them, worth. You know what I mean?
And how much of an issue is the bad man mentality among the young people?
Bad man.
Yeah, the bad man mentality.
Well, as we can see right now, as of late, I always say the the majority, a lot, I might maybe not, but a lot of the young men in Dominica, they're they want to their degrees in T-Max.
They
You
what?
know, they have a degree in T-Max, a master's in T-Max, a doctorate in Lacoste. You understand me? A PhD, a PhD in gold chain. You know what I mean? And then at the end of the day, everybody want the nicer things in life. Everybody want to look good. Everybody want to smell sweet. Everybody want to. But how realistic is it for you to want all those things when you leave your house? You have a $15,000 outfit on you, but when you meet a girl and you put her behind that T-Max, then you cannot bring her by you because you're burning a hole in your mother cup.
Or you
You
can take
check
them
me,
inside the house with a fishing gun.
yeah. You check me, you cannot, you have to, you cannot tell her, okay, well, let's go because they still there, you know, sleeping by shift in a folkage. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So that whole thing is, I mean, that thing about when man, so first of all, if he's a bad man, you have to say he's a bad man doesn't say he's bad man. You know what I mean?
Right.
And be if you have to be a bad man, be bad where it comes. You know what I mean? Be bad in raising your family, raise a deadly family. Be bad in getting your shit together, having a savings or something. Be bad in investing in some land or some property. Be bad in that way. Be bad in protecting what means something to you. You know. So if you want to be a bad man, be bad in those ways. Be bad in learning a new skill.
Right.
Be bad in maximizing your stats. So yes, you're an artist, but try to be the best or the baddest artist. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So that whole Batman thing about man shooting man, and that is the problem. And the thing is, especially in Dominica, where you see lately, there's a lot of latest string of violent crime and shooting and murders and all of that is because they feel you can do it because all you hear is police are investigating, never hear a solution. This has been solved, that person has been sentenced, you know. Um, so it just continues to perpetuate itself because nothing is really done about it, nothing tangible, you know. Look at that little girl that was lost. All of a sudden, you just
Stop here about
nothing,
it.
nothing is too short to flam.
And I must credit the South newspaper for choosing to put her as a person of the year because
Personality of the year.
yeah, because she really brought Dominica the incident really brought Dominicans together. Really brought Dominicans. It's just sad that we are a society that we quick to forget certain things.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh,
You know,
and you talk about entertainers. Why you think that male entertainments, all entertainers, always seem to want to dance, bump, and grind behind a woman when they're doing a show. You're there doing a show, and for the highlight of the show is to pick up a woman.
yeah. You know what I mean? Um, I think sometimes they have to do certain antics to kind of compensate for gaps or lack of real talent sometimes. Because a lot of you listen to a lot of these songs, and a lot of these songs is sometimes just a chant, not really a song, a structured song with a verse. chorus and a verse and a chorus and nicely arranged music, and so they have to do some type of antique, some type of scandalous thing, some type of outrageous thing to just, I think, cover the fact that they maybe don't even really have much real talent, you know.
So do you think that now in does it affect our society on a whole when those kind of things take does that have any bearing on how we treat women, and then that spirals out into the domestic violence issue if the woman doesn't like
Nah,
to do, that
nah,
that
I no. Well, when you look at the way we dance, not just Dominicans but Caribbean people,
right.
you will see that type of dancing mirrored in the way that they dance in Africa.
Okay.
That is a African way of dancing, and women can whine and they have move and they have rhythm, and it's amazing because even like little children that maybe never go out or see people, and they will hear a beat, especially black children, they will hear a beat and they will dance to that beat. They will dance to that beat. So I think it's a thing that in us as people of the sun, because there are three types of people: people of the sun, people of the sand, and people of the ice. Black people are people of the sun. And people of the sun, there's something in us when it comes to rhythm and beat. Is an African. When I see a woman dancing, I remember I wrote a poem once. It was called the Anatomy of the Wine. And when you watch a woman dance and shine, and it's an African thing, and they can't stop that. It's a thing that is in them.
Mhm.
But when you put it on display like that, on stage, all of that, I think that a lot of times that is not very necessary. I mean, if you're a professional dancer, you come, you do a thing like you on stage, you do a dancer, you're a dancer, whatever, you're a choreographer, you do your thing. But a lot of times, like girls want to be at the front until they reach on stage, and it's like a display. It's like a look at me, look at me, look at me, and then I mean, if let's say, or I see that snowballing into, let's say, like a domestic violence situation is like, let's say she has a jealous boyfriend, her abuser, sees that,
Right.
happening, sees her on stage, you know, and he already probably has an inferiority complex. He already probably seen the performer as someone who he wish he could be like, you know. And to make matters worse, he sees his girlfriend, or sometimes maybe even his ex-girlfriend, or sometimes maybe just his child mother, and he finding that is a disrespect. Or you can do that and wait for her, to come home. And because a lot of times the abusers want to have control over all facets. Your body is not your body, it's my body. Or you can do that with my body. You know what I mean? And at the same time, to women, I think women need to feel liberated.
So
To
so
like to
so the,
like to
the
me, like
dance. So can you describe the dance as being vulgar, or people, or the people's behavior in the dance
yeah,
as
like
vulgar? And
yeah, some people take it too far. I mean, it have dance,
but
and
people can
then
dance like that in church.
no. That is what I telling you. It have some people take it to an extreme and just want to make a big display out of it for publicity, for a whole host of reasons. Sometimes they do that to make somebody in the crowd jealous. You know what I mean? Sometimes they doing that because the woman maybe have beef with the performer, girlfriend or whatever, and saying, "Oh, see what I can do on your man. See what I
Mhm.
was doing on your man." But woman area they can be some party again. You check me? But yeah, I mean, some people take it to an extreme, Like there's dancing, and then there's dancing. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So, I mean, that whole thing about when you say over sexualized, yes, that is true. But where do you draw the because I think that women need to feel liberated too, in a sense that they can express sexuality. Like, don't feel like ashamed. I don't think women should be ashamed of their sexuality. Like, some men, they would want to, like, quick to, like, maybe call a woman as,
Mm.
yes, stop. And what? Most times they will call up some men as women, they will call somebody salop just because the person getting more action than them. You know what I mean? It's not the person's fault you doesn't get action. But anybody that maybe getting more action than them, they'll be quick to call the person. And men will even use that, use maybe what they hear about a woman, hear about her back. All the time they're nice, they're good, they airy. And then somebody maybe just say, oh, Mamselle, oh, Mister is the thing, Mamselle, Mamselle. I know Mamselle,
It's
and all of
like
a sudden, the command start to maybe try to call the woman a certain name and hit the woman and beat you, and the domestic violence can start there. You'll beat a man will abuse a woman for what she do
somebody.
in her past long time before him, because he hear it and he technically he know the fella, or you do. You understand? Or you checking how comes you don't tell me that you're supposed to tell me that,
Mm.
and will abuse the woman for things he hear she do years before him, and get vexed and hit her, and and them kind of, like, which I think is just total nonsense.
How can the community assist in curbing the domestic violence issue? Or what do you think that we as a community can do to help curb that?
They need to prepare the women. They need to prepare them. They need to, first of all, educate them on the early signs. What are the early signs of abuse? How to identify microaggressions? How to identify passive aggression? And little things like, as I said earlier on, we'll want to, like, you have to use your phone there in front of them because they have to hear what you're saying.
So you,
You
so you're going down the exact line that the good doctor went last week when we spoke. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't hear. And things like, oh, you usually get here at 5:30 after work.
How
It's
come you come in?
5:45.
Yes.
Explain yourself. It's 5:45. Explain yourself. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Um, the you had more gas than that in your car. How comes your gas go down so in your car? Yeah, yeah. So we have to, um, not allowing them to, they cannot go out with their friends. Oh, every time you have to go by your sister, every time you have to vex, they staying connected with their family, angry at that. So they have to educate women on identifying those small early signs that that person is very possessive, and potentially can be physically
But
harmful. Now, another aspect of
I'm going to ask you
preparedness
about the
is
men. What can you do for the men now?
men that are victims.
No, the aggressor. We come into the victim part in a short while.
All right, and let me just make one more point. Another way of preparing women. Now, if you, let's say, you identify, or or the person confided you and let you know, well, this is what has been happening. They've been being, physically abused and whatever. You you can develop a plan with them. Like, for example, you tell them, if, let's say, the man is getting aggravated, and you know that it's going to end up into a physical thing, instead of, and you're trying to get away from him, instead of retreating or backing off from him into the bathroom, maybe back off into the bedroom. And I think the logic behind that is that, let's say he corners you in the bedroom and he sends you across the room. Most likely you're going to hit the biggest thing in the room, which is the bed. So at least you land on the bed. But if he attacks you in the bathroom, everything inside the bathroom is hard. Sink hard, toilet hard, the bathtub hard. So
Yeah.
most likely if he send you across the bathroom, you're either going to hit your head or hit some part of you on something very hard. You can break the mirror and cut yourself. So the bathroom is a very dangerous place to be backed into during a domestic violence episode, as opposed to the bedroom where, okay, they send you, you end up on the bed soft at least.
But
And
you
if all you
can't
have to
choose.
fight,
You can't
all you
choose.
have to fight, all you fight on the bed. All you
You
have to
can't
fight.
choose what happens.
Yeah, you can choose, but in a case where the person is that, let's say he advancing on you and you're trying to back off to get away from him, you know what I mean? I would I would put myself in the room instead of the bathroom. You know what I mean?
Right.
So because I was just thinking of, like, recently that, with my friend, and I think they found her in the bathroom.
Right.
Yeah. So those are the things. But you had a question.
Yeah, I was asking you regarding the community, the men. What can
Mm-hmm.
the men do? What could you advise the men to how we can get away from that, solving their problems or their issues through violence? How can we get away from that?
And I'll tell you, sometimes, especially dealing with women, especially dealing with a woman that maybe you've been together with for years, in a romantic relationship, everybody get into arguments, get into disagreements or whatever, and that woman will know what button to press. She is going to know what button to
Yeah,
press,
they know what pisses you off.
because man will tell woman all kind of thing. They will think, but when you see they know which button to press and they press the button, you as a man have to have the testicular fortitude
Yeah.
to explore your options. And the number one option is always to walk
Walk away.
away. Walk away is always an option. Walking away is because if you there and rah 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 and rah rah rah, and we trying to see who have more volume, whose amp have more power, trying to
Mhm.
talk over each other, rah, 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 we're not getting nowhere. We're not getting nowhere, and
Mhm.
especially in a setting where it's already volatile, where physical harm is being done. The best option is to walk away. Go and cool off. Go and cool off. Go and check your partner. Go and play a domino. Go and bathe in the sea. Go and do something.
Yeah.
But yeah, walk away. Simple, simple. Walk away. Walk away.
How do you prepare our children to avoid those kind of things? To avoid
Love
those.
to
Yeah.
avoid, like, having to avoid them ending up in those situations when they get
Yes.
older. Love
Right.
them. Love them hard. Love them hard. Set the tone. Let them know and feel and see what love is. And especially with, like, let's say, never be shy to kiss each other in front of your children, and
Mhm.
hug in front of your children, and laugh and share a good joke, dance. Let your children see how love and how life and how relationship should work. Not perfect, like you're not putting on a show,
Mhm.
but is you just, I mean, if you're in harmony, if all you living in harmony and all you nice and all you just, that will be like their norm. That would be like their baseline of how life and how um, adults relate and especially adults in romantic relationships relate to each other, so that they use that as their base. And so that would be their norm. That is what they would look for. That is what they would expect.
Right.
You know
And
what I
so
mean?
I
Because if let's say a young woman grows up in a household where you always seeing her father beating her mother and mommy black eye, lips pursed up and whatever, and like and she constantly seeing that going to be her norm, that going to be her baseline. She will think like it's okay. Like if she have a boyfriend and the boyfriend does that to her, that it's fine because that is how mommy and dad
mhm,
used to do it. That is all what she sees growing up. So if you give them a baseline on love, care, attention, togetherness, do going out as a family, doing things as a family, mommy and daddy hug, mommy and daddy kiss. Like I have no problem with kissing my wife, holding my parent, because that is not thing as if for those. No, and because I kiss you there, no, no, no. You know what I mean?
mhm.
So we have to kind of get away from that bad guy so that free to say I love you to each other and to them too. Like my little 3-year-old Razi will come up to me and hug me and kiss me and say, "Love you, daddy," because that is what he know.
Mm-hmm.
That is what he know. You know what I mean? And it has some children that will grow up and will never experience that, never get that, because some old school family member raised them thinking, oh, children, wash their clothes, feed them, send them school, that's it. No hug, no kiss, no come and let's cuddle and watch a movie. You know what I mean? You have to cultivate, like, for example, every Friday night at my house is movie night. Every Friday night is movie night. Popcorn, snacks, family movie, all of us on the couch, movie night. Now, if a Friday pass and we don't have movie night, big disappointment. I have to make that up Saturday. I have to make that up Saturday, especially with Phoenix. Remind me, remind me, remind me, Daddy, we didn't have movie night. We didn't have movie night. And a
So
weekend don't make until we have movie night.
movie.
You know what I
So,
mean?
bro, you are fresh and nice, positive voice. So I just want to thank you. I mean, we actually quickly coming up to the hour mark, and we don't want to,
Oh yeah, time coming
keep,
up on me.
yeah, don't want to bore our viewers.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
in closing, I mean, there are so many other questions that I could ask, but in closing, based on your discussion, you're saying that the family unit is crucial to the fight against domestic violence.
Of course. I believe that if we raise our young women to expect certain things
What to
in a
expect?
relationship, what
Mhm.
to expect in a relationship. Um, we raise our young men in terms of how to treat a woman, how to order, and it's not just raising them to know how to do domestic things and domestic and
Right.
have to know how to fix a sink, you have to know how to put up blocks, those things there is yes, but
Listen.
then at the end of yeah, but then at the end of the day, when you raise them to be compassionate, and a lot of times you can tell a lot about somebody by how they treat animals. That is why it's always good to have a pet in the home. Let kids know, like, hey, you're responsible for somebody a life other than yours. You know what
Right.
I mean? So because domestic animals, especially domestic violence, if a woman have a dog or a cat and
Yeah.
she love that dog or the cat, the man or the abuser will kill the animal or hurt the animal if just to hurt her.
I've
You know
heard
what
us.
I mean? So yeah, all of those things too. You meet a man, watch how you treating your dog. If you love me, you have to love my dog too. That's what they say, right? That's what they say.
Bro, but largely, I'm in the political realm. I have to ask this one now. How do you think that our party, the TUD, can reach more progressive persons like yourself? Because we need to hear from the young people. We actually hear because of the youth. I mean, I'm not an old person. I'm here because I want to see things happen better for our community.
Yeah, man. Like stay close to the ground. Stay close to the ground. That is where I think the real battlefield for politics is to gain the trust and the confidence of the people that sometimes do really have a voice,
Mhm.
the people that do really have a platform, um uh, uh a big like people just engaging with people, you find out so much.
Right.
Like when you go to like a cemetery, to a graveyard, and you look at that graveyard, you can imagine the amount of ideas buried in that graveyard that never left, that
Never.
never left the head, never left the head of the bearer of that idea. The amount of ideas that were on the tips of tongues and on the brims of lips that never leave, and they in that cemetery. It's like a business. Like the most businesses that ever failed in the history of man is the ones that never get
Never
started.
stop.
You know, so when you talk to the people on the ground and you really find out what is your real plight of the people, you keep your ears close to the ground, you keep your conversations at a ground level, a level where they can really understand and identify with you. And I think, that would really go a long way. Sit, reason, the reason, especially the young men, a lot of frustration, a lot of emptiness, a lot of disappointment, and angry people, hurt people as well.
Mm.
So we really have to try to nip it in the bud. Let's take it back to the days when man like EO and then used to, that kind of
Yes.
thing. Um, and I think, as you said, I think your party is a very young party, and it's potential for growth. And just keep your head close to the ground, man.
All right, bro. To our viewers, we like to thank you for tuning in. Those who came in and out, and those who stayed with us for the beginning to the end. Just so just give a shout out to your family. I hope everybody's well at home. I know your wife must have been tuned in.
Yeah,
Um,
man. That's
other
obviously.
other family members as well. Those who
Yeah,
will play the program from beginning to end who are not with us live. We thank you for tuning in as well. Take a look at the entire program because we had a nice discussion from the male point of view. I mean, we both have been raised from good families, and we would love to see things happen the way we know it should, and
correct.
encourage everybody to solve their problems by what you say the most effective way. Men walk away. And
Walk. Yeah,
one
that
of
is
our
all.
viewers,
Yeah, man.
one of our viewers, um, see Leon Roy. Thank you for viewing, bro. He 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 commented on that.
Yeah, man. Walk away. Always an option. Always your best option. Walk away. Walk away.
All
You
right.
know? Yeah.
We don't want to bore anybody. We don't want to stay too longer than on our 1 to 15 minutes here and tell you we start on time, and we try our best to not stay longer than an hour. So we would like to encourage everybody to just try and let's love each other more as we continue 2023 and engage
Yep.
and stay close to your families.
And
On behalf of yes,
remember, Ubuntu. I am
I am
because we
because
are. I am because we are. And if we start thinking, especially in a place with a small population like Dominica, we start thinking we instead of me, it'll bring us a long way.
All right, folks, there you had it from the man Kimran Emmanuel, Tribe Emmanuel, as we know him, as we see him online on Facebook, engaging with his many fans. I would say, your many fans, and
Tribal.
yes, I like the way you engage with the public. But of course, we have
Thank
to
you,
good
sir.
things must come to an end, and
Yep, yep.
we will see us here at the next time. We'll be discussing a different topic. So, folks, thanks for tuning in.
All right. One love.